Hello.
Hello, Jenna.
How are you?
I am good. I don't think people, I don't know, they might think that we know each other, but we have never met before.
Never, which I'm kind of surprised.
I know.
I feel like we tend to be in the same, or worked with similar people.
Yeah, 100%. I know. I'm so, when I heard that I was getting paired up with you, I was so excited.
Yeah, I was very excited. I have to, before I forget, because otherwise I'll be remiss.
Yeah.
But when I was younger, I told my mom the only reason why I'm acting is because I said I wanted to be the Puerto Rican Dakota Fanning. And so we were obsessed with Dakota's work and we were following. And then she said, "Did you know she has a sister?" And I was like, "She has a sister?" So for the longest time, I idolized the both of you guys and I would follow your careers because I wanted to be in your guys' shoes. So you guys were like this enigmatic, super glorious, talented, figures in my head. And then it's just really, really strange to be here.
Oh my
with
God.
You now.
Well,
like people to ever be. Yeah, but just immense respect for everything that you do and all that you've accomplished.
Oh
You're
man.
really, really special.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Wow. I got to tell Dakota. She'll love it.
Yeah, no, I'm so happy to be here with you.
I know that you've been acting, since you were a child actor, right?
Yeah.
So we definitely have that in common, and I think just.
But you were a fetus.
Right. I was.
You were like 2 years old.
That's right.
Which is insane.
I was very small. I guess it's interesting because there are kind of certain milestones, because of course you're getting older in your life, but as an actor that I hit a milestone and you feel yourself growing, or maybe people start to view you in a more grown-up way or a different. Did you feel like you had that? I mean, we're both still very young, but do you feel like you had that growing out of, because people saw you since you were like 9 years old, you know?
A little bit. And then also I think I naturally appear and sound a bit younger than I am. I think I have like a little bit of a baby face. So I tend to do younger roles or characters, definitely.
Yeah.
That was a little bit hard. And then I also did a little time on Disney Channel as well. So I was also doing children-oriented work, which I think breaking out of that is its own, challenge and journey in itself. But I did a movie a couple of years ago where it was a horror film, and I went from like super conservative Christian girl turned adult film star, and I think that was a little bit of a turning point.
Was that X?
That was X.
Yeah, I saw X.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I loved
That was incredible.
X.
Ty West, the director, he's one of my favorite directors I've ever worked with. Just very, very assertive and brilliant and collaborative. But I think that was a huge turning point for me. What about for you?
Gosh, yeah, mine's kind of similar too, because it kind of maybe was a more horror genre.
Yeah.
Which you're definitely.
Yeah, I do a lot of that.
That's you, yeah. The it girl of horror. I don't know how you feel about that.
I would never call myself.
Do you like horror movies?
I love it. Horror is home. It's
really.
People really like to see me hysterical. Or like on the
you have a good
something.
scream.
I wouldn't even say I have a good scream, but it's just very instinctive, and I think I have a really ugly crying face, which people just feed on. Like if you're in a theater and you see someone who looks like atrocious while crying, you think, "Oh man, she's really in it."
Yeah. Are you a good auditioner? I'm a terrible auditioner.
I'm awful.
Awful. Yeah, I'm not a good auditioner at all. I fainted in an audition once.
How old were you?
I think I was like 12. Yeah, it was, but I got like Pinkberry and Burger King afterwards. So I was like, oh, this is great. Didn't get the job. They were like this freaky girl who's like fainting.
No.
But they make me so, they make me so nervous.
They made me really nervous. I had really awful experiences with like screaming and things like that. Well, first time I ever had to scream for an audition, we were driving on the way there, and it was like a 3-hour drive. I'm from the Coachella Valley. So my mom was saying, "Hey, do you want to practice that scream?" And I told her, "Oh, no, I got it. I went in there, did not have it. My voice cracked. It was awful, embarrassing. And she looked back at me and she was so frustrated because she was sacrificing so much for me to be out there. I felt awful. She was like, "Jenna, how are you going to be an actress if you can't even scream?" And then it's just weird that's been.
And then ever since, like I take my vengeance.
I think it's part of it. I'm very, very stubborn. So I think as soon as that was an issue, but I've never fainted. Have you been yelled at by a casting director?
No, never been yelled at.
I apologize too much.
They yelled at you for saying you were
because
sorry?
I just kept cutting off my monologue by going, "Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I messed it up. Oh, I'm sorry."
And they're like, "Stop."
They were like, "Stop apologizing. You're good." And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry." And she said, "Stop. Like, you're good. Don't worry about it anymore."
Yeah, you can't apologize.
I did get the job though. I don't remember which one it was.
Oh,
not too bad.
Doors unlocked.
You've stayed in LA and kind of been a part of that world. all your life. or-
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I started acting from such a young age, and obviously my sister, I had her as a role model.
Yeah.
You know, a built-in person to
Yeah.
look up to.
Did you go to public school? Did you have what was the normality in it?
So I was homeschooled up until 4th grade.
Okay.
And then, yeah, at like 9 years old, I was like, Mom, like, I have no friends. Like, I need, to be around kids. And she's like, all right, let's put you in, into school. So then I got to go to like a private school here in LA.
Nice.
And I got to go to proms and parties and like have that whole experience, which I'm really happy that I got to do that. So yeah, from 4th grade to senior year, I did not go to college, but
Neither did I.
yeah.
I really wanted
kinda-
to.
You
I
did.
I tried for a minute. I was always told that, as soon as the ball is rolling, especially in an industry like this that is so up and down, and
Yeah.
you just never know when when a job is going to be your last job or when you're in and when you're out. And I think I was just working too much. I was too scared to, which as I've gotten older, I feel like, especially trying to, make a name for yourself in the industry, I put a lot of pressure on myself. I'm definitely an overthinker, but yeah, as I've gotten older, I've realized that you can create space and time for your personal life and have real experiences. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's something that I still have to learn. Do you feel like you're good at balancing?
I think I'm still learning
Yeah,
too.
it's
Yeah.
hard.
Especially when you're on these shows. I mean, we got to talk about Wednesday because it's like
Yeah,
it is
and The Great.
so good. It is so good,
Thank
and
you.
you are absolute perfection. Like there is not a single word, physicality that's
Oh.
like out of place. It's like, and
Thank
it's
you.
also so exciting to have a new Wednesday because I think of Christina Ricci.
So do I.
And
Yeah.
did she give you any advice or anything like on set? Like how cool is that?
No, it was almost a bit awkward. I didn't.
Yeah.
It's a bit strange meeting someone where you're kind of doing cosplay or a version of them 30 years ago.
Right.
So to be dressed in front of her, and obviously I think that she is the perfect Wednesday. It was like the perfect age. I'm very, very impressed by her 11-year-old self and everything that she's continued to do onward. So also just naturally having so much respect and admiration for her as an actress. I was very, very nervous, and I don't think she really wanted to give me too much input, and I didn't want to ask for input because it was really, really important to me that I didn't try to knock off her performance because
Yeah.
it was already so perfectly done. If anything, that's kind of embarrassing on my part, and I feel like it's kind of my job, especially it's such a different time. That was 30 years ago, to kind of integrate more modern ideas or more modern take on a character so that she continues to be timeless and appeal to a new audience.
Yeah.
But then still weave in nostalgic, throwbacks to her role and her character so
Totally.
that
I love the snap. I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh, that was cool.
That was really
They did
sweet.
that.
Yeah, I thought it was cool how they
Yeah.
integrated that into the story.
That boy's family was going to file attempted murder charges. How would that have looked on your record?
Terrible. Everyone would know I failed to get the job done.
I'm awful with accents. I could never be
Oh,
a
you could-
British queen.
If you
know,
had a
whatever.
good dialect coach, you
Or-
can, which I do,
Yeah.
and she helps me.
You are so funny in your show. I was not anticipating.
Oh,
I went into it
thanks.
like completely blind. So it was just a lot more violent than I expected, but then also I love comedy that isn't addressed too much and it's almost kind of just chaotic and you're not able to process what's going on, which is entirely what your show is about. But you yourself are so stoic and strong and just funny. For me personally, comedic acting is a lot more difficult than something dramatic.
I
It's
know,
a-
I agree, which I don't think I ever realized that because I didn't really do a lot of comedic things before The Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, my roles were probably more dramatic. And then through The Great, I actually learned really how difficult it was and how kind of unembarrassed you have to feel with
Yeah.
yourself to just go there. And I think with the cast, their background, a lot of it is like they're from theater, so they're so gifted dramatically and comedically, and
Yeah.
but they were all really there to help me along with the rhythm of it. And because I don't know, also like on Wednesday too, where like there are such specific jokes, and
Yeah.
especially like very deadpan jokes that you
Yeah.
have to hit, and there's like a punchline there. I don't know, because that sometimes I would read scripts and in The Great, you're like, oh, that's a punchline, like that's a joke, like I want people to laugh at that moment,
Yeah.
like I hope they do, but it's a people who are so gifted and talented at that. I envy it, but I think I've gotten a little more comfortable in the comedy world now that we're
Yeah.
on season 3. I don't know what to do about the prisoners. Kill them, torture them, let them go.
Surely not in that order.
Your outfits are also ridiculous. I would never ever feel. Have you done period pieces? Well, yeah, the
I have.
Coppola film.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
Civil War, so it was a little different, but still corsets.
Yeah.
Have you ever worn a corset in like a film?
No, only in my casual life.
Yeah,
Casual thing.
in my personal life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do love a corset, I have to say.
Yeah, but
So-
never for set, and that's
Yeah.
not even just the corset; it's every layer. Actually, in Wednesday there was one outfit that I had to wear that was corseted,
was
and
it
it
the
was
prom dress? No.
no, I was playing an ancestor or someone
yeah,
somehow
yeah,
related
yeah.
goodie, and
Yeah.
she was from Pilgrim times. and
Right.
they had me,
Sweet.
and that was
Laced
so annoying to get into and took forever.
Yeah.
But it was great
does.
once it was on because it looked insane.
Yeah. I know clothes, I think they play they're important to me
Yeah.
in costume and the design, especially. I'm sure Tim Burton was very specific with that, right? Did
Yeah.
Colleen Atwood do it?
Yes.
She did.
Yeah, Colleen Atwood is incredible. That was like definitely one of the highlights of the job in terms
Wow.
of just watching someone that gifted at what they do work was such an honor. And I completely agree with you. A good set of wardrobe completely changes the way that you can perceive a character, in my
Totally.
opinion. I tend to get a lot more creative or have a lot more ideas when you're working with clothes that you feel comfortable or right for the character, and Colleen is a master at that.
How did you, I'm so curious about your physicality, like as Wednesday.
Oh.
How did you come up with that? Because you don't blink much.
Yeah.
And you also are like, there's a real, which you're
Yeah.
you're not like, I mean,
I
it's a
think I'm kinda
character.
slinky. I'm kinda,
Yeah, but it's almost,
naturally
I guess
very-
it's a little spidery or something to her that very rigid.
Yeah.
Like, was that talked about, or did Tim want that, or did you how did that come
It wasn't
about?
talked about, but I'm sure that you run into it a lot. Oftentimes, teenage girls are just brats or for some reason super against the world and just nasty. And
Yeah.
it's great for Wednesday because that's what she is, and it's fun, and
Yeah.
she's just excited by evil things.
Yeah.
But I needed something that was going to differentiate her from past iterations, but then also just from other characters that I do. I want everything that I do to kind of stand out, or to feel like maybe certain characters that I play wouldn't get along or are different people. So I think for me, physicality, that was something that I had never really played with before. And because I never experimented with deadpan humor before or anything like that, I think
God,
that
you're
there's
so good
something-
at it. That's crazy.
I don't know. I feel
Do you feel
it's
like
very
your humor is like that in real life?
my humor in real life is very deadpan.
Is
I'm
it?
very,
Yeah.
very dry.
Dry.
People never know whether I'm being serious or not. And
Mhm.
I'll
It's kind of English.
Yeah, well, a lot of our crew members were English, and they told me that I had the humor of like a 50-year-old taxi driver in Leeds, or something like that, which I
That's a
hold very near
compliment.
and dear to my heart.
Yeah.
But performing it and then also have it take place in a teen drama, romantic setting,
Right.
it was very, very foreign and different for Wednesday, which is the great thing about the characters. You could put her in the most absurd situations, and it's going to be funny because
Yeah.
she just doesn't belong.
Yeah.
But yeah, making that work, I was really, really nervous about that. But also, people are a lot scarier when they're still, and because I think that I look like a pug or something. Like I've just got like a little, I've just got a little. I don't know what it is. I was like, oh, what could make me more intimidating or more weird? And I'm like, I just should never move and stare at people really intensely, and maybe that will work. So I used
It
to
worked.
walk my dog down the street, or just at night when people weren't paying attention, I would just try different postures and stances, and are my hands clenched, or are they free, or and I would film myself.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
really. Oh wow, that's cool. When you were talking about kind of the stillness, The Neon Demon was a film I did when I was like
Yeah.
16, which also kind of felt like a film that kind of pulled me out of child star a little
Yeah.
bit. Like I felt like that was a turning point for me, and people seeing me more in a grown-up way, because the film was so kind of polarizing,
Yeah.
which I loved. Like people either hated it or they loved it, and it was very out there, but it was an amazing experience. But there's an opening shot in the movie, and I'm like playing dead, and I have contacts, so I can I've never lost a staring contest ever.
Whoa.
Because I think it's something about the contacts holds the moisture in my eye. I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but when I did that take, and Nick Reffin is the director of Neon Demon, and he takes really long takes. I think it was like 11 minutes or something, and my eyes were open the entire time, and the lights were so bright, and they melted my contacts all over my eye, like they burned into my eye
No
because I
way.
kept them open for
Did
so
that
long.
hurt?
It didn't. It was odd. I think because I got off set and then I was like, oh God, I can't see. I thought that I was blind.
blind.
Yeah, I thought I went blind because I was
No
like,
way.
I can't see. And I was like really freaking out. And then I think because I was like, where's my contacts? I thought that they had like gone away and
Yeah.
I couldn't see anymore. But then we're like flushing water and finally I like fished it out and it was all melted and crazy. But
That
yeah, just an anecdote.
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would never, I don't even come close. I
Do
feel
you
like,
wear contacts? No.
no, I don't.
No.
And the whole staring thing, it was just, you blink on other people's lines. I wasn't
Okay,
even, like
yeah.
properly
I was like, she's
doing
not
anything like
blinking.
that.
Yeah,
No.
I know you're usually a quad kind of girl, but I've been working on that all week.
Birthday, yes. Happy, never.
So your show takes place in Russia. Do you
Mm-hmm.
actually shoot in Russia?
We do not. We shoot actually in London, which is really nice.
That is so nice.
Yes.
I've always wanted to shoot there.
Yeah, it's like my favorite city. I feel like if I don't end up living in LA,
Yeah.
I want to live in London, which I get to for like 6-7 months out of the year. So
Yeah,
I'm
it's
lucky.
a long shoot.
yeah, it
Jesus,
is.
yeah.
How long does yours shoot for?
I think we went 7-8 months as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was in Romania.
Wow. What did you guys
Yeah.
take over the town? Like,
No,
'cause
I
London,
if
it's a little, it's
only.
a, I don't know, it's such a big city and I have a lot of friends there and things, but in Romania, I'm like, did you have a lot of friends there?
No, I didn't know
Yeah.
any Romanians
Yeah.
going into it. So I think, honestly, I'm so fortunate because the cast that I was set with are some of my favorite people I've ever met on this
That's so
planet. So I
nice.
think that we were very supportive and beneficial to each other during that time. I couldn't imagine doing it without them.
Yeah.
But yeah, did not know anyone in Romania. It was in the middle of the pandemic. It was a red zone country, so some people weren't allowed to leave because you couldn't travel in and out of the certain regions in Europe.
Yeah.
Everything closed at 5-6 p.m. because of the pandemic. So it was pretty much just set and then home. And then if we wanted to hang out with each other on the weekends, if we had the time, we all would go to Georgie Farmer's apartment. He plays Ajax on the show, and he just had the coolest Airbnb. So we just would hang out there and play cards and things
There
like
you
that.
go.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
that's
do what you
nice.
can.
I don't know the hours in the day. Like it does kind of take over your life.
Well,
in
yeah,
those
in comparison
months,
to film, it's absolutely
I
insane.
agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you really build a family in a different aspect, and yeah, it does. You do have no life for
Yeah.
a little bit.
Do you know if a lot of the same like crew members are going to come back for next season? Or I know you're a producer next season.
I am a producer.
Which is
yeah.
What made you want to kind of step into that role?
This is my first time producing a television series, so I was pretty excited about that. I think
Yeah.
for us on our show, it's pretty much a natural progression, just because we had already been throwing out so many ideas, and I'm somebody who's very hands-on, and I want to know what's going on. And I think with a character like Wednesday, who was so beloved and so is such a legend, I just really didn't want to get her wrong. So I think I try to have as many conversations as possible, and really on set with the writers and Tim, we just all kind of would get together and decide. We'd go through sides in the morning and decide, okay, what works and what doesn't. And yeah, it was naturally already very collaborative. So I think that, in preparation for a second season, we kind of wanted to get ahead of the curve and make sure that, we could start the conversations earlier. And I'm just so curious. I want to see the outfits, new characters that are coming in, scripts. And yeah, they were gracious enough and cool enough to let me put the producer hat on, which I'm really
Well,
excited.
as they should. You're
Yeah,
like,
but you, on your show, it's your first time producing a television
yes,
series as well.
it was. Yes, when I because the first season we did the pilot, we filmed it when I was 20, and now I'm 25. So I'm like, this part has been, she's formed my whole 20s. Like I don't
Yeah.
know. It's just like this character is like in such formative years of my life. I feel like I've grown up through her and learned so much through playing her as well. But also I think the producing side of that, just learning the behind the scenes mechanics of it all. Because I think, I don't know if you felt like this, but I think when you start acting young, and maybe not for everyone, but for me at least, I think you start to realize, oh, I want to kind of have more agency in
Yeah.
this, and I want to have more say. And I think a lot of actors that I've talked to as well, the advice is always to produce your own work, go out there, find a book you love, find an article you love, and you can make that. You are
Yeah.
able to make that instead. Because this business, like the one thing that I just hate about it is that sometimes it's other people telling you who you are and what you can do. And it's so unfair. It irks me that they want to put people in these boxes, you know?
Yeah.
So I think for myself, I'm like, I'm going to produce my own material and have more say. And I think even through each season, I've grown so much with my voice and opinions of really saying how I feel. Because I guess for a long time too, I felt like, oh gosh, I'm young, like I should listen to the adults, you know? But then when you think about it, you're like, well, we've been acting for a very long time and we've been on a lot of sets from a very young age, and we're allowed to have those opinions, and we do know what we're talking about, you know?
Yeah.
We really do. And so I've learned to kind of assert myself. So I would say don't be afraid to
I
assert
feel like
yourself.
that's definitely something that I'm learning now, and
Yeah.
I think that that's why someone like Wednesday is someone who kind of forced me out of my shell in that sense. And especially, I don't know if it's, again, I'm pretty short and then pretty young, but then also just being a young woman in the industry, I feel like sometimes people don't take you as seriously
Yeah.
or as open to the conversations before. I've had insane conversations with people in terms of, you know, I just stand my place and I don't know because I'm not this or that, or, you know, I'm just an actor. So I definitely agree with you in terms of, you know, having experiences or having seen it happen to other people where you kind of become a puppet in some sort of sense. But the most beautiful experiences that I've had on a job, or the jobs that I'm most proud of, have always been the ones where everyone's voice is heard, everyone pitches in, everyone, and with your
And you could
experience.
be wrong too. Like that's the
100%.
thing. It's like,
Some ideas land and sometimes they don't.
Yeah,
But
and
it's great if you know
yeah.
we have the time, or we're in the space now to explore as much as we possibly can.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, with the whole producing thing, it's exciting but nerve-wracking at the same time, because first of all, it's so nice, you know, having, oh well, Jenna, you have the floor and you have this, and you know, it's just kind of I feel like almost like a kid in a candy store in a sense. But at
Yeah.
the same time, I'm in the phase where I'm still sending the wrong email to like 3 different people.
Yeah.
Like, wait, who do I send these notes to? Or
Yeah.
what am I supposed to do here? So
Yeah.
it's definitely finding your footing, but it's a good place to be.
I love the whole editing process.
Oh, I haven't even considered that.
You have to get in there.
So they send you dailies every day and
Oh,
things
yeah.
like that? I've never been
Oh
sent
my
dailies
gosh,
before.
it's so fun. It is so fun. I'm like, I would love to be an editor. I don't know, but I at least get
Can
to
you watch
introduce-
yourself?
I can.
Okay.
I can.
Has it always been that way?
It's always been that way. I think I was
Nice.
such a ham, like growing up when I was little, like I just loved watching myself. Like, and then it's gotten, sometimes I think as I've gotten older, I judge myself a little bit more than I used to. Because when you're a kid, you're just like, oh, I'm on a huge screen and I'm like a little
Yeah.
kid and it was like a home movie or something. But yeah, I start to judge myself a little bit more, but I can separate weirdly.
Yeah.
But it's not even just about me. I think it's watching, you know, the first cut of the first episode and watching that and thinking, do we need this scene? We can,
Yeah.
you know, looking at all the dailies and picking the right lines, and
Yeah.
I find that really fun.
Kind of helps you take you out of your head. You know,
Yeah.
Just because it's a lot more objective in that sense.
Yeah, I'm happy that I do get to produce too, because I think the show is very challenging and all-consuming in its kind of brain power in a weird way, because it's well, not even in a weird way. It's like extreme memorization, because we have to be word perfect. We cannot be wrong.
And the dialogue is not natural.
It is not natural. Yes, Tony McNamara, our showrunner, he's a genius writer, and he wrote The Favorite as well. Did you ever see The
Oh,
Favorite?
yes, of course.
Yeah, it's kind of like
That
similar
makes
tone.
so much sense.
Yeah, totally. But he's like, his rhythm is so specific, and yeah, the memorization is like, it's a lot. So you do need
Intense.
something to like clear your head. I think having the producing side and getting to watch some dailies and put a different hat on at the end of the day, like
Yeah,
helps
it's good
clear
for
it
you.
out a little bit.
Well, you thought it was me.
I did.
Well, that shakes a man.
How can we trust each other?
Faith.
Annoying answer.
Agreed.
Well, yeah, for season 2, I'm so excited. I can't wait. I'm like, what spoilers can you give me?
Oh my God.
None.
I don't even know. I don't even know.
Yeah.
We're just kind of throwing, I just got a couple of the outlines for the first couple of episodes. So it's still very much coming together and things like that. But we've had a lot of conversations, and I think we've decided things that we definitely want to enhance or dive a little bit deeper in. And that,
Things that you specifically want to kind of bring to.
I think we want to lean into the horror aspect of the show a little bit more, because it is so lighthearted, and I think a show like this, you know, with vampires and werewolves and
Yeah.
superpowers, you don't want to take yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
So I think that we're kind of ditching any romantic love interest for
Ah, okay.
Wednesday, which is really great. And then also we have such incredible female leads in the show.
Is
or
Weems coming
characters.
back? You can't
Oh
tell
my
me.
God, I would die to work with Gwendolyn Christie
I-
for the rest of my life.
I know.
She's
I'm
a
like,
perfect.
what? I was so shocked when that happened. I was like,
Yeah.
no, I
know.
loved her. Well, also, I wasn't sure about her at first. And I
Yeah,
was like,
she's a little.
I mean, not her, like the character. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know. She could be a baddie, but then she was so good.
Wednesday's relationship with Weems is
Yeah.
one of my favorite because
Yeah.
they're very, very different women and they're constantly against each other, but simultaneously they both want to watch each other's successes
Mhm.
and support them, which is such a fascinating dynamic. And Gwendolyn, being as talented as she is just really, really a pleasure to work with. So I'm doing everything in my power to throw out
Yeah.
the most insane plots that would possibly bring this woman back from the dead.
Yes.
I am trying.
Bring her back.
Yeah, it would be a shame to go on without her. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely more. I think we're just gonna get a lot more bold or a lot more
Mhm.
dark, which you never really know. But fortunately, I didn't know if it was gonna be for younger audiences or older audiences. But it's kind of been a seamless transition in
Yeah.
terms of different audiences, which
Yeah.
I'm pleasantly surprised by and excited by. And I think we just want to see how far we can take it.
Yeah, for sure. I think well, also like the Addams Family. I mean, it's
Yeah,
an iconic family. And I love Addams Family values. That's like one of the
that's
best movies.
incredible.
One of the top. Like
Yeah.
that's my favorite iteration. Did you watch them to study
Yeah.
it or?
I had never seen the series before, the one from the
Mhm.
60s.
I don't think
so
I've seen that either.
Yeah, I went back and I watched the Addams Family series, and then I watched the movies 100 times over
Mhm.
from the 90s, and that was just kind of all I really did. I also went back to the original comic strips because I think,
I didn't even know they had that.
yeah, the wonderful thing about Christina Ricci is she kind of created Wednesday. You know, Lisa Loring, first iteration, absolutely wonderful, special, and completely different from Christina and much, much younger. But I think a lot of people associate the deadpan nature of Wednesday with just the Addams Family, and Lisa was very, very happy and excited and just very childlike. So it's been interesting to see what has been done. So I think with mine, I just kind of had to try to blend the two as best as I
Yeah.
possibly could. But that's what that was. I just was thinking, okay, what were the most memorable or heartwarming instances from, you know, both of these performances, and then see what I can do.
OMG, you look perfect. Only thing, where are your whiskers?
Ask again and you'll be down to 8 lives.
Yours is not a true story.
Right.
Very, very clearly.
Yeah.
Is there anything in terms of getting yourself ready for that era or that time that you have to do to make sure things are accurate or?
Yeah. I remember starting out and I was like, okay, I'm playing Catherine the Great, so I need to do all this research on her and kind of pull out the books and read a bit. And then Tony was like, you don't need to do that. Like, you know, of course it's fun to read about her. And there are things in our show that we do bring in. You know, she brought female education and science, and she invented the roller coaster, and that is real. Catherine the Great invented
That's
the roller
an
coaster.
incredible invention.
Yeah, so I was like, that's all I need to know about this woman. I'm like, she sounds amazing. That's very fun. So I'm like, that's a good fact. But I kind of threw out the history books a little bit. I think, you know, she was reduced to this horse rumor that we all know that she, you know, they say she had sex with a horse, and that's kind of what she's been reduced to, which I think it's like the first form of like slut shaming in a way, because she was very, very sexually open and had a lot of lovers and loved sex. And so, you know, that's what society likes to do to women, is put them
course.
down, and they reduced her to this rumor. So I think with our show, we wanted to show the things that she did do for the country, and her period was the Enlightenment period, and she brought such amazing things. So those things are true in there, but I had to pave my own way and create our own version of Catherine. She was very progressive and very modern woman, and also is very kind of messy and not always right, like not the strongest woman in the room. I don't know if you feel like this, but like when reading scripts, it's like they love describing women as like badass, strong, like, and they're always like coming into a room and like they know everything, and it's like, oh, that's a strong woman. It's like, I don't want to watch that. I'm not like that. Like, I love complicated women, and I want to play evil women, and that messiness is like that's what I feel like I try to bring that into Catherine, because she's not always right all the time.
Also, when you're watching a project, you want to feel like the characters or representatives that you're seeing of yourself on screen
Yeah.
are relatable or attainable. And sometimes when
Absolutely.
when you're constantly walking and there's cars blowing up in the background and things like that,
Yeah,
it's
like-
cool and it's awesome. It
It's
looks
like-
beautiful, but I don't know anything about her. So it's hard to develop some sort of
Yeah.
admiration or connection with women when they're written very two-dimensional and
Yeah.
don't really
Or
give
it's
you
like,
enough.
to be a strong woman, you have to be this. To be,
Exactly.
it's like, again, putting us into a box again. So I think I'm very grateful for Tony's writing of getting to kind of show the different sides.
And for it to be accurate and feel good to you and relatable
totally.
to you.
I mean, I think she has a huge ego. Like, she's very egotistical, which is one of, like, I love playing that side of her. Like,
Yeah.
it's so fun.
Calling yourself the great
Of course.
seems arrogant.
It is if you're not great. If you are, it is just calling things what they are.
Right.
Shh.
You have an Instagram.
I do have an Instagram.
Did it blow up after Wednesday came out?
It did in a way
Yeah.
that I wasn't not anticipating any of
Yeah.
that at all.
Just like
It's
so
just-
many followers and comments and
Yeah,
crazy.
and it was weird. I've had projects come out where people started to recognize me more, acknowledge me more on the street, and that was manageable and easy. But there was like a very obvious shift in my life, maybe 3 days after the show came out.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really. I had
How
never
did
had
you
that
manage
experience
that?
before.
Like, do you what's your relationship like with that stuff? Because I know, like, for me, it can get toxic.
Yeah, it
like,
gets ugly.
yeah, it does. I feel like it's the comparison culture of like so many images coming at you, and you're like just comparing yourself
Yeah,
to
well,
all these
it's
people.
well for you especially because I feel like you were in it right before, because you've been acting for so long.
Mhm.
You were in it kind of right. You've seen the gradual shift to
Yeah, I
social
was in
media
it.
not
We didn't even
mattering.
have Instagram when I
Yeah.
was acting. I had like a private Instagram when I was in high school, like just for my friends. I wasn't allowed a Facebook growing up, and that was like the cool thing. And so like
Yeah.
I never knew about the parties, and like they'd have to text me like get a Facebook, like, but I wasn't allowed one. So I had a little private Instagram and like a Snapchat,
Yeah.
which I don't anymore. But yeah, then when I was 18, I got a public Instagram, and that was like a huge thing. And it was also such a dilemma. I'm like, should I get one? Should I not?
Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah.
I see when I first started acting, it was told to me, by my first agency really, that I had to have
Wow.
a public platform and that's what I had to be. And also
Oh,
when I
funny.
did television shows when I was younger, they would take us to media training, or they would call it, Disney 101 or something like that, where you would go and they would give you a notebook and pens and pencils and paper, and they would say, okay, you're going to post 3 times a day. This is how you get the most
Oh my
engagement. This is how
God.
you get people liked. This is how you build followers.
Wow.
Download these apps as well. Engage, promote our show on. So it became a business. Or you
Yeah.
would go into some sort of audition or meeting, and it was, how many followers do you have? Or,
Yeah,
what
I
are
didn't
your
get a part
analytics?
once because I didn't have enough followers.
yeah, it's
Which I was like, it was so weird. They're like,
so.
you were great, but your numbers. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
God.
I was
didn't
that
get
way
it.
a little bit for a
Yeah.
while too.
I was not media trained. I'm still like, still just post whatever.
Yeah,
I
even
want.
after shooting Wednesday, when I was auditioning for certain roles, they would ask me, or they would come to my team, we like her, but we just don't know if she has enough of a platform or enough of a name or enough of, because it's so
I
important.
hate that.
It's really, really ugly. And I think
Yeah.
that social media, what it does to anyone our age is it's such a comparing game, and such an I think it almost influences bandwagon mentality, where it's so easy to follow what a trend may be, or as soon as you see a trend, especially the way the algorithms are set up, it's all you're seeing and all you're feeding on, and it's just not brainwashing in a sense, but just very, very manipulative. And I get really, really nervous I feel like after the show especially, I'm really, really nervous to post or really say anything on there, or even be myself, because I feel
Yeah.
like
It could be misinterpreted or
but yeah,
Yeah.
that's like a whole another world that people don't even prepare you for.
Yeah.
And I naturally, because I tend to be sarcastic or dry, I feel like it's very easy for me
Yeah.
to find
I
myself
know.
in
I
trouble.
wish
or
I could
get
be
myself-
funnier on my Instagram like that. I wish I'm like. I'm like, I could say something really funny. I could do, and then I'm like, oh no, but I can't because
Yeah.
people are not gonna like.
Or it just
It's
doesn't
just gonna.
land. Yeah,
It's not gonna
you're
land. It's not gonna work.
you're thrown to the dogs. And
Yeah.
you know, I was actually just talking about this because when I first started acting, my mom told me that I had to use my platform for good. Yeah, I had to be, vocal about things that mattered to me or were important in the world and society, whatever. And I had to get good grades. I couldn't have, not all straight A's. But I remember growing up and when I started creating this platform for myself, I just thought I am gonna be funny and I am gonna, share whatever jokes I find
Yeah.
funny. And I'm gonna be honest and I'm gonna be myself and I'm gonna be vulnerable because I want people to be able to watch movies and also get to know the people behind the camera and feel like they're attainable or realize that people should never be put on a pedestal. Like nobody is more special than another because of what they do. And then the more I guess I've been exposed to the world in a sense, people prey on that and take advantage of that and they see your vulnerability and twist it in a way that you don't always expect. So it's just like it's so strange. Sorry, I don't mean to do this. I didn't even feel like I was gonna do this, but it is like it's like such a hard thing to balance because it's how do you be honest without jeopardizing your own health and safety and feeling like you're it's very easy to feel like almost out of control of things, which is why it's so important I think for people to get off the phone and experience. And I've been so grateful and lucky to be with family and friends and things like that who have been with me since I was a fetus or a child or 4 or 5 who are real people and know me for who I am. But it's definitely been like it's scary out there.
You just have to protect yourself.
Exactly.
And also just know when to put it away and know it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Like, that's not the real world,
I will say like the last couple of years I've gotten much better about not being on my phone or not reading comments.
Yeah.
Because I know that
still
that's
hard.
such an ugly cycle that people
know.
go through. But it's definitely like, yeah, I was so nervous to even do this interview because I was like, oh man, I never do long.
They'll
form
probably
things.
say
What
we
do you-
said something. Who knows?
Yeah, but not
Make
even
fun
that.
of
It's
us.
just what do I talk about for so long, or how do I? Because again, I still have this like really really intense urge to be human and honest and just authentic. I another thing about this industry is you get in front of the camera and people want you to be something else, like you were saying. It's the puppet thing where it's have more energy or could you smile a bit more or could you sell this more, and it just feels so gross and I don't want to feel gross.
No.
I would rather people see me cry and do whatever than
Yeah.
be something that I'm not, which I don't know if you found that you've got a couple years on me, so I don't know if there's like
No, I mean, I think I hear you. It's so beautiful that you are so open and honest about your feelings because I think not a lot of people are, and I think it's it's so courageous for you to put that out there and to say that. And I think it also can help so many people as well. It doesn't matter if we're in the public eye or not. We're all like human beings, and it is a feeling. And I think like you said, like you getting just surrounding yourself with people that know you and your family and your friends that are going to be truthful and honest with you and love you for you is really important. I feel like that's something that I've learned. It's like my friends aren't really in the industry or anything. Like they're just my friends.
They're just so nice.
Yeah, and like
It's so
just
nice.
my family, and I think that's what's really been important, and it's it's a real saving grace for me because they're my unit, and I have them, and they know the real me, which is
definitely.
important to have that. And I think a little like it's not even mystery, but it's like keeping your like something's private and for yourself. It's like to protect that side, of you.
Yeah, that's definitely what a lot of it is just
Yeah.
protecting your own peace and
Yes.
your own. I think it's good to be private in a sense.
Yeah.
And-
You want to share a
you-
bit, but I think there's a part of you that also it's like important to to keep to yourself that you know,
Yeah.
you know?
I've felt more private than ever, I think,
Yeah.
recently, which is
And you
been
feel
really,
you
really
like
strange.
that.
I feel so grateful to have the job that we have, because to be consistently passionate about and excited about something every day that I go to work, regardless of the hours, regardless of the time, regardless of the stress that it could bring. It's really such a pleasure, and it's something that I see myself always doing, and that's why it's the social media and having to carry yourself in another light, or how do you even represent yourself in photos and things like that? It's insane. Like, oh yeah, this
is me,
Yeah.
all done up.
yeah,
Like,
I'm just gonna consistently post photos of myself so that you guys know what I look like. or something. I'm not sure.
yeah.
But it's all
Gotta
that.
change. I got a new haircut.
Yeah, guess what?
Yeah.
Because you care.
Yeah.
No, but it is funny to kind of coming to the realization that something like that is completely worth it for the opportunity to do what we do and to even be consistently working. It's
Yeah, and I think, like you said, to use it as a space that you can highlight things that you care about and also show a little bit of your personality too, because I think, like, before social media, I don't know, before that, it's like you didn't really have a platform for yourself. I guess that's the good side of it, that you can kind of speak,
definitely.
to what you believe in, and
or people
that's a
across the
good
world
side.
can communicate. And
Totally.
what I will say about my generation, because I think it's very easy for us to be talked about as the screens, lazy, unmotivated, whatever the typical things that people are going to say.
TikTokers.
We are also having conversations that haven't always been accessible to anybody, and I feel like there's a lot of it's hard. I mean, generalizations and assumptions are dangerous, and we should stay away from those. So I can't speak about it in a grand sense, but I do feel that we have opened a lot of space online for communities and people being able to resonate with people, and maybe sometimes make people feel less alone, and knowing that there's someone on the other side of the world that feels
feeling
the same exact way.
yeah.
Or we're able to amplify and support other people's voices that maybe wouldn't be getting as much recognition or support, on a global sense, which I think has been really, really fascinating to watch. And I just hope that we continue to use that and use our platforms to just kind of uplift one another and make sure that everyone is heard and equal, because it is very easy to get lost in there as well.